Hey, this is Stacy from Let's Cook, y'all. Welcome back to our channel. If you're new, welcome. We're so glad you're here. We hope you enjoy the content on our channel and you'll consider hitting that red subscribe button. We're back with a brand new week of What's for Dinner with some easy and delicious meals. We hope you get some ideas and inspiration for things to fix at your house. Thanks so much for stopping by. Hope you enjoy the video. The first meal we have for you guys this week is another new one. This one came from my Food Network kitchen app. This is on my big TV in my living room. This is something I got free back during the pandemic. I've got it for a few more months. I found one that uses pretty much everything I had on hand. The only thing I was lacking was some roasted red peppers for Tim, and I will get those and prepare this again. This one was delicious. I loved it. These are the ingredients I pulled out of my pantry. The recipe was a little vague. It called for white beans. I wasn't sure if I was going to use garbanzos or cannellini, but I ended up going with the cannellini. And as I said, I did leave out the roasted red peppers, but I had everything else. So let me show you how we made these flatbreads. Oops, pretty much every recipe video always leaves something out. I did not show you the sun-dried tomatoes. Before I started on the flatbreads, I made a quick vinaigrette, my regular honey mustard. I used two kinds of mustard, eyeball equal amounts of a stone ground and a Dijon. Then I add a little dab of mayonnaise to give it body. Then I eyeball about the same amount of honey as the two mustards, whisk that all together, and then I slowly start streaming in some white wine vinegar. You could just use regular vinegar or even red wine vinegar, whatever you have on hand. Season to taste with a little salt and pepper, and then I've showed y'all this before. I just kind of count when I pour the vinegar, and then I times 3 and kind of count as I pour the olive oil and whisk it in to emulsify. I taste it and adjust it, and this little batch I thought I needed a little bit more mustard. I started prepping the topping for the flatbreads. I had two kinds of olives, black olives and some Kalamata olives. The jar says pitted, but I still found a pit. Always be careful. I added some sun-dried tomatoes and then the tuna. Rather than the cheaper Starcrest, I did use a better quality of a chunk albacore since there's so few ingredients. And since I'm making the topping for both of us and I don't like green olives, I kept those out. Those will go in Tim's topping. If you're adding the roasted red peppers, you would add them here. You add some olive oil, a little bit of red chili flake, and some black pepper. I did mess up and add some of the garlic powder here rather than to the bean mixture, but it was fine. It tasted wonderful. This is a very flavorful dish. A couple pinches of kosher salt, and then very gently tried to mix this together. Tried not to break up the tuna too much, but I did get rid of the big pieces. I'm a huge proponent of tasting my food, and I thought I needed a little more olive oil, some red chili flake, some garlic powder, and a little more pepper, so I just taste and adjust as I go. And probably since I left out the roasted red peppers, I thought it needed a little something else, so I added a little more sun-dried tomatoes. This step is just for me. I split the mixture in half, that way I could take the green olives and add to the half that would go on Tim's flatbread, and I kept mine separate for me without the green olives. And I would do the same with the roasted red peppers in the future for him. For the bean mixture, I just decided to go with cannellini, so I drained them and put them in the bowl of my food processor. I added some of the sun-dried tomatoes, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, 2 tablespoons of water, a half a teaspoon of garlic, a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, such a lovely and very flavorful bean mixture. Time to start on the flatbreads. Lightly oil one side and put it down on a hot griddle. Repeat with the second one. I probably added a little too much oil. Next time I'll cut back a little. They need about a minute or two to char. The flatbreads hot off the griddle only take a minute or so to assemble. Split the bean mixture on each flatbread and then we will put the topping on. I did have a little bit left. It was delicious with leftover pita or crackers. And top with the tuna olive mixture. New recipe, I think we're going to like it. It's a Mediterranean flatbread, tuna olive. I did leave out the roasted red peppers. Tim's has black and green olives and sun-dried tomatoes and tuna, and mine is missing the green. I made a fall harvest salad with gala apples, chunks of cheddar, walnuts, croutons, and red onions. And I made a quick 90-second mustard vinaigrette to go on top. We will fix our plates and leave a comment as to whether we like this new recipe. That's what's for dinner tonight. For tonight's dinner, I needed a yogurt dill sauce, a half a cup plain yogurt, or I went ahead and used the whole 5.3 ounce container, a tablespoon of mayonnaise, some minced garlic, some garlic and dill to taste, a little bit of lime juice. Mix it up, taste and adjust. I added some white pepper, and I ended up adding a lot more dill because I like a lot of dill, but make it fit your taste buds. The yogurt sauce is to go with some easy imitation crab cakes. We don't live near an ocean or anywhere there's fresh crab, so imitation or canned is the only way we go. You chop up the imitation crab meat, and then you chop up some celery if you want to use it. I'm going to finely dice the whites and the greens of some green onions. To a large mixing bowl, we'll add a beaten egg, a tablespoon of plain non-fat Greek yogurt, a tablespoon of Dijon mustard, some Old Bay seasoning, and some hot sauce to taste, 2 teaspoons of soy sauce, or I use liquid aminos. Then we need to get that well mixed up. It's going to take a little effort to get it all combined. Then you will start adding the celery if you're using it, and the green onions, the greens and the whites. I like to mix all this up before I add the crab meat at the end, because the imitation crab, and I'm sure real crab, is very delicate, and so we want to mix this as gently and as least as possible, but get the sauce all combined. I have found making these cakes that I need to add some breadcrumbs to get them to stick together. The original recipe did not call for any, but through the years that I've made these, I've learned to take the mixture and form it in my hand and see if it will stick. If it doesn't, I go back and add some more breadcrumbs, as I had to do here, just until they can hold together. And what we're going to do is make these up and put them on a plate and put them in the refrigerator to set up as long as we can before we are pan frying them. I've really been struggling lately on my vegetables. I've been opting for either a salad on the side, or this has lately become, if you've watched here regularly, you'll know this has become my favorite combination of vegetables on the side. I chopped up some zucchini, I quartered some mushrooms, and I chopped some onions. The vegetables are just a nod to try to be healthy, but I actually think crab cakes deserve fries, so I did some waffle fries in the air fryer for about 10 minutes. Tonight's dinner is a 2-skillet meal. I got my stainless skillet out, got it hot, added some olive oil, started with the harder vegetables, the zucchini and the onions, the mushrooms going last. Got my little favorite copper skillet out, got it hot, got some olive oil in it to start pan frying the cakes, swirl it around. After the cakes come out of the refrigerator, they set up a little better. I know from trial and error through the years that this size skillet holds about 6 little mini cakes, no matter what I'm making, hamburger steaks or anything else. Once the vegetables have completely sauteed and browned, I add some salt and pepper, oregano and chili flake, and a little soy sauce or liquid aminos. The crab cakes need to be flipped halfway. They take about 4 minutes per side. I made the imitation crab cakes, a yogurt dill sauce to dip them in, sauteed what vegetables I had, zucchini, mushroom, and onion, added a little soy or liquid aminos, oregano, red chili flake, and salt and pepper. Did the last of my big bag of waffle fries from Sam's Club. I'll have to get another one in the air fryer and put a little Cajun seasoning on those, or Old Bay would work. We will fix our plates. Crab cakes and sides is what's for dinner tonight. For tonight's dinner, we tried a brand new Instant Pot recipe for white beans with sausage. I did cut this recipe in half, and I'll leave a link to the recipe that we used, but I soaked my white beans overnight. You'll need some sausage, some onion, and carrots. I did omit the celery, a lot of different seasonings, and there were a couple that I added that weren't in the original list, and then you can end with some kale or spinach that you wilt in. But let me show you what we did for Instant Pot white beans with sausage. We will start off by putting the Instant Pot on saute mode. I always put my hand here because I always like to feel that it's hot. It did not heat up. It took a little longer. Once I can feel the heat, I do add the oil. It should be shimmering. The recipe I followed called for cutting big chunks of the sausage, probably so they wouldn't come apart in the Instant Pot. We're going to brown them on all sides. for a few minutes, and I did cover this with my glass lid so that the grease wouldn't splatter everywhere. If you'll see, we've got a lot of brown or the fond on the bottom. We will add a bay leaf, the chopped onion, the chopped carrots, and the celery if you were using it. And we're going to get these sauteed. If you'll notice, I always take my spatula and scrape as much as I can on the bottom to get everything up so that I don't get a burn notice. I used all dry seasonings, no fresh. I added some thyme, some rosemary, some oregano, some black pepper. I took my spatula and kept working it as I was sauteing because I do want to get all that burned bits up from the bottom. It's the flavor and we don't want that burn notice. Towards the end, I added the garlic. The original recipe calls for about 4 cloves of fresh, so I added about 2 full teaspoons of the minced jarred garlic. A half a teaspoon of black pepper, and then I got all the spices toasted and started slowly adding the chicken stock. I mixed up 3 cups. The original recipe calls for 6, but remember I'm cutting it in half since I'm just cooking for 2. So I added the first cup, and then I did decide to add a little bit of smoked paprika, and then the last 2 cups, and then the white beans that I had soaked overnight. So since I soaked them, it's not going to take as long to cook in the Instant Pot. We do want to take the spatula and push everything below the liquid as much as we can. Anything left on top is likely to be crunchy. The original recipe says to cook for 40 minutes if you didn't soak your beans, but I soaked mine overnight, so we're going to cut it down to 25. Lock it in place and set it for 25 minutes high pressure. Then we'll let it natural release for 15. Give or take a few seconds. I triggered the stopwatch on my phone. Looks like it took it about 9 to 10 minutes to come to pressure, and we will cook it for 25, NPR for 15. We have 15 minutes on the timer. We're going to release the rest of the pressure. We will fish that bay leaf out. Take out a bean and test it for doneness, although they look like they're falling apart. Test it for salt, and then we will add the kale. What? Do I have a taste tester? Get you a bean. Do you want it before I put the kale in it? They're hot. They're falling apart. Does it need salt?
Those are good.
All right, we're going to wilt in. Do you want some out before I wilt in the kale? You like greens.
I can live with the kale.
You can live with the kale. All right.
But I won't be excited about it.
You're not supposed to be excited about kale.
Okay.
Or quinoa. Put it on the saute. It's a new recipe to try. Got a taste tester. Always getting my bowl.
Oh, this is yours because there's a little small sausage in there. And a whole lot of kale.
Okay, little piece of sausage.
Now, if we can get mine, we
Get
want
a big
lot of
chunks of sausage.
Woo,
it's more of a soup. I was hoping it would be just beans and greens and.
Ooh, that's 2 sausage in there. Look at that. How about you?
We will try this.
Look, there's another one. Oh my.
You could get something besides the sausage. I went in the pantry and you got the last box of Krusteaz cornbread. Did that in the oven. We will cut that up. This is more like a soup. It's a good day for soup here. We will leave a comment as to whether we like this one. Instant Pot white bean and sausage soup is what's for dinner tonight.
Krusteaz cornbread. That's not Mama's cornbread.
Your mama's cornbread is much better. We both give this 2 thumbs up. We each went back for seconds. This is how much is left. This is my largest Pyrex. And as it sits, it gets thicker. This is the consistency I was actually looking for, less soupy. So when we heat it up for lunch tomorrow, it will probably be pretty thick. But this one is a winner. I have another half bag of the beans, so you will be seeing this one again this winter sometime. I'll leave a link to the recipe. Tonight's dinner is an old favorite. I'm trying to cut back on the amount of leftovers I create, so I'm making a small batch. I took out a half a pound of ground turkey, chopped up some onions. Also got some frozen steak fries going in the air fryer. They took about 18 to 20 minutes at 400. I always add my garlic at the end, so the ground turkey and the onions are just about browned. And we're going to add an undrained can of chili beans and some tomato paste and a little bit less water than the tomato paste can calls for. Some chili powder, onion powder, garlic powder, and a dash of chipotle powder. This is my hot dog chili, or really thick chili that I usually do when we have chili dogs. I added a little bit of salt and pepper. I tasted it, added a little bit more chili powder and chipotle, and my mom always told me if I was using canned tomato sauce or tomato paste to put in a pinch of sugar, so I did that. From our last grocery haul, some uncured hot dogs, 6 minutes at 3:30. This is a easy meal we have not had in a long time. I made some chili. I'm still working on the 6-pack of chili beans I found discounted at Sam's Club. I think I got 6 cans for 98 cents, so I made a small batch of hot dog chili, which is thicker than my regular chili.
So we're going to have chili dogs 6 more times? 5 more times?
This is the 3rd can,
oh.
So we're only going to have 3 more batches of chili using that. So we will make hot dogs. I did the hot dogs in the air fryer. I think that's actually one of the things we've decided that's just as good in the air fryer as out on the grill. Cut up some onions and pickles for Tim. He likes his with chili. I do not. Did some steak fries in the air fryer. We've got a couple of sodas that were hiding in the back of the pantry I found at Big Lots. We bought this brand before. I guess it's Boylan, B-O-Y-L-A-N, black cherry sodas. And I'm pretty sure we've asked this question of the day before, I think on July 4th, 2-3 years ago. But leave a comment with your answer. What do you like on your hot dog? Tim likes chili, and he likes mustard and ketchup, and I like mayonnaise and mustard and no ketchup.
I'm more health conscious.
You're not health conscious.
No.
Tim will make a chili dog. I'll fix me a hot dog, show you a quick picture. That's what's for dinner tonight.
Oh yeah.
And in case you missed it a couple of days ago, Tim made homemade biscuits this week, and stick around to see what we had with them. What is your favorite food in the whole wide world? I always tell people in the videos, Tim's love language is
Wolverine.
Smoking hot biscuits.
Right out of the oven.
Tim made his homemade biscuits. He's got eggs and bacon. He's very excited. That's what's for dinner tonight.
Move over, woman.
Give me my biscuit. What are you going to put on it? Sometimes he puts honey. Sometimes he puts syrup. I don't think he ever puts jelly on a biscuit.
Not too much of a jelly on a biscuit, personally.
You don't use his jelly on toast. You're going to do honey, molasses, or syrup?
Oh, we have molasses?
I don't know. I know we have syrup.
If we have molasses, it's molasses.
Yuck.
Yuck!
Thanks so much for stopping by this week and watching. Take care. Have a wonderful and truly blessed day.